Fortnite Chapter 6 Season 2 is finally coming to a close. And I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have great expectations for Lawless. Last season had such a good theme centered around Japan and Japanese mythology, and then the next thing we get is a criminal/vault season. It really feels like we've seen this before in previous chapters. After the trailer dropped, I really wasn't interested and thought that it looked boring. But of course, it's still Fortnite, so I'm gonna play it. So let's look back on this last season. We got a brand new biome along with 4 new POIs. The main one here is Crime City, which is just the Fortnite version of Chicago. My favorite new location is Outlaw Oasis, which actually features a secret vault that sometimes has loot. Shiny Shafts is a new location, which is for minors.
Teenage girls.
No, Drake, not those kind. And the last one is Lone Wolf Lair, which is for alphas, I guess. Some locations got updated with vaults that would have a bunch of loot and gold, and as well as the new Dilbits, which is just basically a cryptocurrency. Don't worry, it's not actually real, so you won't get scammed. I just love that Fortnite even references the coin losing value, which just reminds me of some things. Gold is the primary attraction of this season, as it literally can be found everywhere and it's even affecting the water. And there's a new status effect called Gold Rush that makes you mine faster and increases your movement speed. So it's just a friendly version of cocaine. Gold also allows you to shop at the new black markets, which features lots of goods from heals, boons, utility items, and of course guns. The Dilbits that you got from the vaults can also be used to buy even better guns like the mythics and even the exotic weapons. One of the most important things for any season is the loot pool. You can have some of the best POIs ever added with one of the coolest battle passes, but if the guns suck, then it's just a horrible experience. Starting with the ARs, they gutted the Fury rifle from last season and brought in both the Striker Burst and the Collateral Damage AR. And right off the bat, the Collateral Damage AR is borderline useless because the other 2 guns have scopes on them. Now, I'm not saying that this gun is bad, but it struggles as a main AR. It feels more like a flex weapon between an SMG and an assault rifle. Later on, the Twin Mag gets added in, proving that scoped guns are really the best in this category. Next is shotguns, and okay, why did they add this shit? Did Epic forget about the Oni shotgun last season? Because literally no one picks up the 2-shot barrel guns. If you find one in the early game, it's okay, but later on, you're just gonna get slammed by the pump. I don't know why they keep on adding in this same kind of shotgun when literally no one uses it. The Infiltrator guy added in the mid-season, and I think that's an okay addition. If you want a slightly faster fire rate and more ammo in your gun, then this is the better option compared to the pump. Before I move on to the SMGs, we gotta talk about this thing. Just don't ask what the name is. At first I thought this thing was gonna be a broken mess since it only takes up 1 slot for 2 guns, but in reality it's actually well balanced. I like how it feels like a worse version of both a shotgun and an SMG, but bundling it into 1 slot still makes it worth a thought. And it also gets brownie points for being unique. The only other SMG we got this season was the Scope Burst, which adds more variety to the loot pool. And then I'm also gonna lump in the Plasma Laser into this category because it kind of feels like an SMG. And this thing is very fun to use early game, but it kind of falls off a cliff near the end game. Probably the most controversial weapon they brought back was the Mammoth Pistol. Some people may not be happy, but honestly, I've been cooking with it, so I enjoy it. Okay, enough of the boring shit. Let's talk about the cool stuff. Sub-Zero and Scorpion both got their own items, and I gotta say that Scorpion clears here. Sub-Zero's isn't horrible, but the best part about it is the dash slide, but there are other items I will talk about later that are better than it. And Scorpion's, well, let's just say I've had my fun on it. There are some games I will literally drop all of my guns just to use this because of how much fun it is to use. I don't think it's necessarily overpowered because you can easily spray down someone that is attacking with it, but damn, every time I pick it up, it just makes the game like 10 times more entertaining. But that's not all. We got 12 new exotics. Someone at Epic was like, fuck it, drop a bunch of cool shit. And they did it. Some of these were just okay, but then you get to the broken stuff like the sniper that pings the area where you shot it. And then you got a better Mammoth Pistol that explodes on impact. If you're in a car and someone has this thing, you just gotta get out. One of my favorites is the Shockwave rocket launcher that literally sends you flying in the air. And finally, how could I forget the most bitch-made weapon? The Rift Launcher. Are you too scared to fight? Well, just get one of these and you will literally avoid any fight because it only has a 20-second cooldown before you can rift again. Very cool, Epic. Besides exotics, they brought back the minigun and Midas's drum gun. Oh boy, I hope they don't bring back one of the strongest guns in Fortnite and add a thermal sight. Oh, would you look at that? Now, I don't really think it's necessarily broken. It's definitely very, very strong, and at least someone has it in the end game. But I don't think it was that bad. Okay, now it's time to bring this thing up. For build players, I am so sorry that this thing existed. Just watching someone play one game and seeing the grenade launcher get spammed every fight is really lame. And for zero build, I don't think it was that horrible, but if you or your team were in a car, then that shit is just getting blown up. On paper, this season looks like it should be a broken mess, but when you have a bunch of guns that are already really strong, you don't need to balance it. For movement, the Typhoon Blade was laid to rest. I don't need to remind you about how powerful this sword was, because just look at this bullshit. One click and you get sent off the edge. So they had to fix that for this new season, and we got the kneecapper. It's pretty similar to the blade because it has solid movement and combat abilities, but it takes a bit of skill to actually use them. I've had so many great moments with this bat, just knocking people into the storm constantly, or even just smacking them off a cliff. And I wouldn't even say that it's broken because you could just back up, unless you're in a closed off room and people start giving you back shots. Then it's a little hard to counter. Next, we got the rocket drill, which is just an item used solely for mobility. You basically have to be kissing the person if you want to do any damage with its attack. However, it's easily the best rotation item in the game, and I really like when Epic adds a mobility item like this because there are no offensive capabilities. It can either help you engage, or you can fly away like most people do. I really like the way that Epic is handling medallions in this chapter. Before, they used to be mostly tied down to one location, but this season the main one bounces between like 5 different POIs. And the medallion itself isn't that overpowered. It's an upgrade for sure. I just love anything that gives more movement, but most of the time you can kind of live without it. Scorpion also got his own medallion that makes your first shot do more damage, and just like Fletcher Kane's, Scorpion also has a few different spots that he can be at. The last medallion can be obtained when you defeat Shogun X, and this one is pretty unique because it gives you a little shield bubble whenever you heal. It's not that great compared to the last medallion he gave you, which literally made you invisible when you sprint. I just really hope that they keep this trend of constantly moving medallions for the next few seasons. 5 new boons were added in, replacing the old ones. Out of the new ones added, I would say that only about 2 are worth going for. The Vulture boon marks enemies that have died on the map, which can be used to third party, or if you're a little scared, then you could just run away from that area. And then the Adrenaline Rush boon gives you the slap effect whenever you mantle, hurdle, or wall jump, which can be very useful for extra movement or if you're in a fight. The other 3 are okay, but they feel very situational or mostly just good for the early game. Okay, now let's look at the battle pass.
Oh my god, bro.
Okay, yeah, they may not have the craziest designs, but I do think that they look pretty clean. We have the main bad guy, the Alpha Wolf, and it wouldn't be a crime season without Midas, and he's looking good as always, but nothing will top Big Dill. And he's an actual rapper that has beef with T-Pain. I still remember barely waking up watching the trailer, and then I was even more surprised that Anthony Fantano was covering it. I'm just glad that this rap beef didn't end with a lawsuit. And for some reason, the collab skin in this pass is Sub-Zero. Don't get me wrong, I love Mortal Kombat coming to Fortnite, but why is he here in a season themed around crime? Like, any of these other guys would have been a lot better. Compare this to last season where Godzilla matched the Japanese theme. Overall, the pass is okay at best. Moving on, Epic has been cooking with collabs in Chapter 6. My favorite one this season for sure is Adventure Time. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think this was gonna happen, but we gotta thank Multiverses for flopping so that we can get this collab in Fortnite. First, look at all the shit they added. It's nuts. This is the kind of effort that you like to see Epic give to a franchise. The other big collab was with Mortal Kombat, and it wasn't as good as Adventure Time's, but it was funny seeing Gooners upset that Katana isn't half naked. If I could make one change, I just wish that each skin had 2 edit styles of one of their more recent appearances, because Sub-Zero got this same treatment. It's cool to see the OG designs from the really old games, but I really wanted more for each skin. Other notable collabs this season, we got WWE with The Undertaker and Cody Rhodes, and then we got half of the Cowboy Bebop cast. Both of these are great additions to the game. There was also a few other smaller collabs that got some extra skins. Sabrina Carpenter is the new festival skin, and this has got to be the best model that Epic has ever made for an artist. And I would also like to mention that there were some really good Fortnite original skins this season. I feel like these skins don't really get too much love, and I enjoy Epic putting in effort to these outfits. To give my final thoughts on this season, I would have to give it an 8 to maybe even a 9 out of 10. I was very happy that we got such a fun loot pool that was constantly updated. It made the game feel fresh every couple weeks or so. The season theme and main gimmick of breaking open vaults is very repetitive, and we have seen this so many times before. I just wish they went for a more unique approach. The battle pass could have been better, and please make the collab skin actually match the seasonal theme. I just hope that Epic keeps improving as we head into the Star Wars season, but let me know what you guys think about Lawless. I'm curious to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comments. Alright, bye.